Good day and welcome to a new video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe! Heya and welcome to Weekly Tips, where we put some sense in your tip jar. Welcome today. Today you're joined by me, Daniel, and we're going to be adding colour to our velvet spider. So let's crawl on into this. So last week I drew this velvet spider. I drew it in a few angles and then I went into a 3/4 view. And now someone has commented on that video wanting a how it would color video basically. So here is that video of me coloring this velvet spider. Now before I do add any colors or anything like that, you need a really decent drawing, and for me that is a key element. So I fix up any tweaks and mistakes that I have made in this drawing to try and capture it the best I can, because adding color to a drawing, it doesn't make it any better. You need to have a good foundation before you can start adding color, tones, drop shadows, anything. Before you start adding anything, make sure you got a really good foundation. So that's what I'm doing here. I am really fixing and honing in on a few tweaks. If you're following along, do the same thing. You know, if you have to redraw it a few times, redraw it a few times. Everyone's different and they're going to have a different process. It may take you longer, it may take you a few more attempts to get to the stage or get to a better stage than I am. You may be at different levels, but if you follow along and then if you do these final tweaks and just keep adding these little changes, then you can get it to a good drawing, a really good drawing. And even at the stage where I'm kind of doing a final clean drawing, even then, once I start shading it a little bit, it even, there is a little bit more tweaks I can do still. So from here, you can see me shading a little bit. I start adding in a few tones. Now, if you want, you could do a 3-tonal study. So that's just using 3 tones, white, black, and grey. Obviously, if you do it this way, you already got grey, so you only have to add in your highlights and your dark tones. And that's it. And that just shows you a rough estimate of where your light tones are and where your dark tones are. It's not so necessary in a drawing like this. It's more for more imaginative stuff, but it is useful if you want to use it in something like this anyway. And every now and again I do 3-tonal studies just to quickly, roughly get an estimate of how it would look like with a few tones there. Then, once I've done that stage, sometimes I don't need to do as much. I didn't really need to do it in this one because I just wanted to get into the tonal side of things and just go full out tonal. So I started doing a tonal painting of this spider, just slowly painting along. And as I'm painting along, I may notice a few things that need fixing up. So, as I go along, as I fix things up, I slowly change things as they need to be changed. As well as I've added the drop shadow. Now, the drop shadow is really important to show the bug and where he's sitting, and also it lifts him up off the ground. So having a drop shadow is a really good thing, and it does add a bit more 3-dimensionality to the animal, the creature, the bug, the spider. So anyway, from here we can slowly add color. So as you can see, I create a new layer and I make it a color layer, and then I do a soft brush and paint or I don't do a soft brush, but you can do a soft brush if you like. I use a hard brush here, unfortunately. But I use a hard brush to do the coloring, and I color that layer with that blue and that brown. Then I paint over top of it using those colors that I've kind of quickly created from here. Now you could, if you wanted to, you could do a full tonal study. You could go really in depth with your tonal study, and then you'd only have to do a quick color layer and it might look really cool. However, you may get a little bit bored sometimes of doing a full tonal study, or for me, yeah, I enjoy doing a little bit of color as well, and I can also, because these have quite dull colors, these spiders here, it's kind of a bluey tone, but it's very, very saturated blue. It's grey, it's almost black, but I can see a little bit of blue in there, so I wanted to add in that blue. And it's quite challenging to I guess dull the colors back with the color layer. I could have done a full tonal study and then maybe done the color, but maybe put the opacity of the color layer down. That's another way I could have achieved it. But for me, yeah, I just thought for this, and the purpose of showing you how I do things sometimes, I use the color layer usually for a quick once over, just to quickly add in the color, and then from there I paint over top the colors. That's the way I usually work. Sometimes I have done the whole full tonal study, then applied the color on top, and gone from there. There'll still be tweaks though after doing that color layer, because it doesn't perfectly match word for word sometimes. It does work most of the time, but the way textures work and things like that, sometimes it doesn't. It all depends. And now I use another type of layer, an overlayer, to add those, I guess, kind of washed out highlights that you see here on his abdomen. It looks really washed out. That's what I do with the overlay, and I darken some tones up as well with the overlay. Now, this ain't the final result of my piece. This would be a basic study. This has taken me 45 minutes, so it's a basic study. From here, if I wanted to kind of push it and finish it off, I would use this and keep painting for another couple of hours on top of what I do have, or basically break it down again, so dull everything back and draw, pretty much paint the whole thing again. So use this as kind of a concept piece to then paint over top of it fully. But that's how you delve into color here. So hopefully, this helps you delve into color on your velvet spider, and you can get painting it and creating something interesting as well. Maybe you could use this process to paint an interesting kind of spider as well that you create or something. Let me know down in the comments if you enjoyed this video, if you painted along, if you have seen these spiders, or do enjoy drawing spiders. Anything, I'd love to know down in the comments. Keep drawing, keep creating, and see you in the next video.